Hello, hello, and welcome to the Addenda series where I will quickly but in detail go through an addendum for your information. Today's addendum is going to be dun, 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 the addendum for sale of other property by the buyer. Now, this is one of those addendums where you actually might use this one, whereas the other ones, I feel like a lot of the videos that we've done in this series, it's just great information for you to know. If it, for whatever reason, randomly comes up, you have a source. But this is one of those addendum where you actually might use this quite often. So this is the addendum for sale of other property by the buyer, meaning before I purchase your property, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I need to sell my current property over here. Okay, I need to sell this property first, then I will be able to buy your property. This is also known as a contingency addendum. I can buy your property contingent on me selling my own. As long as I can sell my house first or my other property first, then I can buy the next property. So, as far as the contract, here's what it says here on this addendum. The very first paragraph, what you're doing here, first of all, is you're putting the address to the property. Okay, this is concerning the property, to contract concerning the property at this property. What property are you willing to buy after you sell your own? Okay, so this is going to be 123 Easy Street, but I currently own 456 Easy Street. Okay, the contract is contingent, again, a contingency addendum is contingent upon the buyer receiving the proceeds for selling a different property. Okay, I want to purchase 123 Easy Street, but I cannot purchase 123 Easy Street until I sell 789 Right Way Street. Okay, so that would be that's the home that I need to sell first. And as long as I sell it by this date, which is what I'm putting here, let me just highlight this stuff. So I am buying the property here. I need to sell the property here by this date here. Okay. And as long as I sell the property here by this date here, I can buy this property here. Okay. So I got to sell first, then I can buy. And my deadline is here in paragraph A. Now, the great thing about a contingency for a buyer, I have a contract on a home. I at least have an idea of where I'm going to go after I sell my house first. But doesn't that kind of leave the seller in this limbo stage? Because until that date comes and until that house is sold, their house is now not available to purchase from anybody. Nobody else can purchase that house because there's a contract on it. Well, the beautiful part about an active contingency or an active kick-out contract is that the seller can still advertise the property. Okay, so let's just say some random person comes by. I have the property under contract using this contingency addendum. I'm going to sell my house before I buy this other house. And here comes this person, goes through an open house, and they say, well, I don't need to sell my property first, and I'm ready to buy it right now. Then that means the seller is accepting a written offer from some other party, completely different person, and they have to give the buyer notice. Okay, so the seller is required to requires the buyer to waive the contingency. So I need you to get rid of the contingency altogether, or I'm going to go with this other property, and you have this many days to do it. Okay, so again, I have to sell my house before I can buy your house. The lender might be the person that's saying that, like maybe I don't qualify to buy this house before I sell this house, or I just need the money out of that house, or it would just make me more comfortable. Any of the above. I need to sell this house first, then I can buy the other. But if some random person comes up to that seller and says, I don't even need a contingency, I'm ready to buy it right now, then the seller can say, I'm going to accept this other person's contract, even though I'm already under contract with me, right? Even though they're already under contract with me with this contingency, and they could tell me, Jasmine, you have this many days to waive the contingency so that I know for sure you're going to buy this house. If not, I'm going to sell it to this other person. Okay, that's what this is saying so far. Now, paragraph C, the buyer may waive the contingency only by notifying the seller of the waiver and depositing additional earnest money. To guarantee it even more, I can waive my contingency, meaning I no longer have to sell this house before I buy yours. Now, these are for the people where it's just a preference. I prefer to sell my house before I buy yours. So I'm going to use this addendum. But then if someone comes in and says, hey, I'm going to buy this property, or if I just want to waive my contingency altogether, there's an additional amount of earnest money that that seller can negotiate and say, the only way I'm allowing the buyer to waive a contingency, which could be the requirement in paragraph B, they might have to waive that contingency. The only way I'll accept the waiver is if they also deposit an additional amount of earnest money, giving that seller a little bit more security that if that buyer somehow, some way drops out, I get to keep all that earnest money as long as it's not a contractual reason. Okay. And then the rest of it is just more information about is making sure that the contingency is being waived. There's signatures here. And for the purposes of the addendum, there's strict compliance. Okay. That's all this is saying. So again, for sale of other property for the buyer, that buyer has to sell a property before they can buy yours, period. The details of everything else is what you're putting here in this addendum. Okay. I hope that helps. See ya.